Welcome to SPK Speak Sports. On our station, we talk about baseball and sports news, from the most recent stories to the throwbacks. Listen now to Scott, Paul, and Kelly on SPK Speak Sports as they hit the ball out of the park.
You hit the ball out of the park, Speak Sports.
Aloha, and welcome to the island of Idaho. My name is Scott.
I'm Paul.
I'm Kelly.
And we are SPK Speak Sports. Got a couple of topics I'll talk about, amongst a few other things. We're going to talk about, I think maybe we'll all talk about the Marlins. Kind of interesting start and a real great story that Paul has. And I'd like to talk about the term MEAT, M-E-A-T.
Well, that's pretty funny because I actually have a food story, a baseball ballpark food
Who knew?
story. But I also want to get in something that I didn't get in last week. Here we are at the first turn of the season already, quarter of the way through. So I want to talk about best performers so far this year.
Okay, and I want to talk a little bit about the extra innings. There's been a lot of games where there's extra innings, and they have a certain rules, and I think I've come up with a better one.
Also, we're pretty jazzed because it is Sunday in Idaho, and it's a pretty big day for us because it's take out the trash night. So we're looking forward to that as well. All right, as far as the Marlins, I think they were losing today 4-2. Jacob deGrom was pitching, so anybody could lose to him.
Formidable.
So assuming they did lose, they were losing 4-2 in about the eighth inning. They will be now 7-3, but still in first place. Now, they've only played 10 games, but that's still quite an interesting start for a team that has not been good for a number of years. And you've got, Paul, a great story about one of the players. Really.
But before you get to that, let's break up the Marlins.
Not only have the Marlins had a pretty bleak recent history, but after 18 players test positive for COVID, they lost 5 days, I think, or 6 days, and are making up games with doubleheaders and that sort of thing. But I think that the feel-good story of the year for me thus far has been a Marlin player who, but for those 18 positive tests, wouldn't be in the big leagues right now. He's a 30-year-old rookie. His name is Eddie Alvarez. And Eddie Alvarez, you may know him as a 2014 silver medalist in short course speed skating. Short course speed skating to baseball. It's the first transition from a Winter Olympic sport in the Olympics, a Winter Olympic sport, to Major League Baseball ever. In fact, Alvarez is the first guy to be in the Olympics in a sport other than baseball and make it to the major leagues. This kid is amazing. His first love was baseball. Growing up in Miami, of Cuban ancestry, ice skating is kind of the last sport you think of. Yeah. He loved baseball, but he also loved inline skating. It turned out he was really good at it. So his parents would rent out a facility about an hour every weekend morning, and he would skate, and he was really good. So eventually, through high school, he played baseball, but he wanted to go back to skating after a while. And he trained and he trained. He almost made the 2010 Olympic team, but he had knee surgery. They found 8 tears in his patellar tendon. He came back to make the team in 2014 and won the silver medal in the relays for the U.S. on a team that wasn't supposed to do that. It's just an improbable story. So this year, at age 30, he finally makes the big leagues. Today, he's 3 for 4, last I looked, before we went on the air. And today he got his first major league hit. He says he's going to take that ball and put it next to his silver medal. That's a first.
And his skates.
And his skates.
Yeah. And I've actually, I'm taping the Marlins game. I woke up today, I got to tape the Marlins game and see how it goes. So I didn't watch a whole lot of the game, but I assume that he got at least 2, if not all 3 hits off of Jacob deGrom. Wow. I don't know who was in when he got his third hit.
Had to be, and one was a double.
Yeah.
So I have a trivia question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, who's the only other Olympian, non-baseball Olympian, to make the transition to baseball? I think I misspoke earlier. I said he's the first.
I answered it yesterday, so go ahead. And I was correct.
Let's see. Wasn't Pop Warner, was it?
Go to it, Scott.
Jim Thorpe.
Jim Thorpe, All-American.
You betcha.
Carlisle College.
That's right.
Okay, I looked in the Webster's dictionary today because you know how words are changing and meanings are changing and everything. And there is a new definition for the word anemic. And the definition of anemic now is the LA Angels team batting average of 211.
Above the Mendoza line.
Yeah, I mean, not a real good week. Ohtani probably won't pitch the rest of the year. I mean, what's the point unless they get in the playoffs? And he's not hitting well. Other than Mike Trout, who had, 4 home runs after he got back. Again, congratulations on your baby boy. And he's probably sleep deprived. Maybe these other guys ought to be sleep deprived. Because other than him and Max Stassi, who is having a career year and 27 at-bats, he's actually better than Trout. He's got 4 homers and 10 RBIs and 27 at-bats, and Trout has like 5 and 11 and 45 at-bats. So, but other than that, I mean, if they don't have those two guys, they're under the Mendoza line probably.
And Stassi, I don't think he did that all year last year.
No, I looked at his stats.
God.
I
thought Fletcher got off to a hot start this year for them. Fletcher?
Fletcher's hitting,
yeah.
but Randone, he's terrible.
He's 0 for 24.
Terrible, man.
He's 0 for 24, but you got to be an optimist.
He'll get there.
You know he's due.
Oh God.
He's a great ball player.
No,
he'll be
but
there.
they're terrible.
But on a good point, because you think, well, maybe next year, and it's like The Godfather. You're out, and then all of a sudden they reel you back in. And Dylan Bundy throws a complete game. He probably leads both leagues at this point in complete games. One. But he pitched a heck of a game.
Yeah.
And Heaney is doing okay too.
Yeah, he was losing today. But
that's 2 guys.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my ranking for that.
For them, you got to pitch a shutout to tie. So.
Yeah, no hitting attack whatsoever.
Oh,
and
God.
you think with getting Rendon and some of the other guys he got. Well,
and they just say, and the band plays on.
Yeah. Well, why don't you play on here?
I want to talk a little bit about extra innings. I've seen a lot of games, and they've gone into extra innings. And some of the teams, they have the last guy out, he goes to second base. I've seen very few teams bunt. They try to knock him in. And if a guy does bunt and they get the guy over to third, they might walk the next guy if he's big, tough out. So I guess when we talked about this, we were trying to figure out, okay, what was the reason they had to do it this way? And we kind of came up with it. Like the consensus is that they didn't want to maybe use up the pitchers. They want to get the game over with, all that kind of stuff. So I was thinking, okay, so we're in an era of the home run derby, right? Everything's about home runs. It goes all the way back to Sosa, McGuire. The chicks dig the long ball.
Absolutely.
So they pushed that. That was during the steroid thing. So I thought, why not play into that? Why not have each team have a home run, a guy that they say, okay, this is going to be our guy, home run, and they play home run derby like they do before the All-Star game. That's a big thing. It's the home run derby, ESPN. They push it. So what they would do is they would have tie game, the visiting team comes up, they have their home run hitter, they have their batting practice.
It's like free kicks in soccer.
Right. You get 10 swings. They give you 10 swings, whatever you do, however many the guy hits out, the home team's home run hitter comes up and he gets his shot. So say the visiting team, the guy hits 4 home runs, the home team, the guy hits 5, the 5th homer goes out, it's a walk-off homer, right?
I'm a Dodger fan, and the Dodgers and the Yankees are both playing home run derby anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's true.
I like it. It is so
it's
radical that it works for me. Because it's like the what is it called? The shoot-off in hockey.
Hockey, you get
I don't watch much hockey, but whenever I see it's like, I'd like this, because it's going to end pretty quick, but how is it going to end?
Yeah. And soccer, you have your best, what do they have, one, or do they? Yeah, I think they have one guy and he kicks, so it's kind of the same thing. And what does it really matter? it's extra innings, and the way they're doing it is not the way the game's played.
Pitcher
So-
doesn't get the loss. It's just
right.
a team loss.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, we completed our game. We're in extra innings. Let's do it.
I
Boom,
like it.
it's over.
Call the commissioners.
I'm
as soon
such a
as we're over.
traditionalist. I want to hate it, but I
Yeah.
can't help but love it.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing for me on that. I'm watching the tape of the Angel game the other night, and it was extra innings. And so I'm going to the 10th inning. I'm going past the commercial and everything, and I go a little past, and I rewind it, and I go, wait a minute, maybe I went too far. And I go past the commercial again, and I'm looking for how the guy got on second base. Did he hit a double? Was there an error?
Yeah.
And so I finally
Yeah.
got that ingrained in my head. Okay, you just go to second base. There's nothing earned. You're just there. But I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
So
Well, you're used to the way they've done it for 100 years.
I hate to admit it, but I have no ego.
Or you can take your best four and play over the line.
Hey, yeah, that's why not? This is the new. It's the new baseball.
Also, you mentioned about the Marlins. They've only played now 10 games.
Right.
After a couple of weeks, the Cardinals have only played 5
Right.
games.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're 2-3. So
Right.
I don't know what that.
I don't know how they're going to make those. I mean, they're going to have to play a doubleheader.
Well, I think they were talking about some of these teams don't get to 60 games if they've got a better percentage than somebody else. They get in the playoffs. So the Cardinals could play 52 games and have a better percentage than the next team playing 60. They could get in the playoffs.
Well, then it's
wacky year.
Yeah,
It's a
so
wacky
it pays
year.
to be sick.
I want to mention you talked about old rookie Alvarez
Yeah.
being 30. I want to talk just for a minute. I don't know how I got onto this, but every once in a while you think about an actor or somebody, and you Google them. And I Googled the other day Leroy Robert Paige. Satchel.
Ah, yeah.
Satchel Paige. What an interesting life. He was born in 1906. Passed away in 1982. He's in the Negro Leagues, obviously, all this time until 1948. And Bill Veeck, who probably should be in the Hall of Fame, but I think he was so unconventional,
Right,
much like
right.
you just a few minutes ago with
Thank
your
you.
home run derby. So you'll never make it either.
No, okay.
But Bill Veeck brings him on to the Indians in 48, who win the World Series, and he was 6-1 as a 42-year-old rookie.
Wow.
So they needed every one of
Yeah,
those victories. He started like 7 games, completed 3 of them. It's just, and his ERA was like 2.48. So he's 42 that whole time. Next couple, he's on next year. His ERA is okay. He's got a losing record. He's out of baseball. Bill Veeck buys the St. Louis Browns, now the Baltimore Orioles. And again, he pitches pretty well for a couple of years. He ended up starting 27 of his games. He had more as a relief pitcher and had 6 of those 27 games.
Wow.
But the big finale was in 1965. So he's out of baseball for over 10 years. And Charlie Finley, another rebel,
Yeah.
innovative guy, and he calls him up signs up to a 1-game contract, and with the Kansas City Athletics at the time, and he pitches 3 innings against the Red Sox, gives up 1 hit to Carl Yastrzemski. Wow. There's no way Yastrzemski's going to let a now 59-year-old guy, get him
Yeah.
out. So he gets the 1 hit. No runs scored. He goes off to, they turn out the lights and light matches, and he goes off to the Old Gray Mare. And before the game, he's sitting in a rocking chair with a nurse giving him coffee.
Wow.
So, I mean, and just a couple of quotes of his. You always hear about the Yogi quotes or the Stengel
Yeah.
quotes. Sometimes I sits and thinks, and sometimes I just sits. I never rush myself. See, they can't start the game without me. And then he said, I never had a job. I just always played baseball. So all the things that man saw early in his life in the Deep South and just kept going and going and going. Remarkable.
I
So,
loved
Did he-
Satchel Paige when I was a pitcher in high school and college because we had to run and run and run. But Satchel Paige, he hated running. So we tried to convince our coaches, are you Satchel Paige? No, we're not. He said he'd just like to jangle about.
yeah, he was against running. And I asked Lee Thomas, who was an Angel at one time, who was with the Red Sox, and he was one of the guys he got out in those 3 innings. I said, what did he get you out on? And it's almost before I could complete the sentence, he said, hesitation pitch.
Wow.
So
I think they also asked Satchel, they said, do you ever look behind you? And he said, I never look behind because somebody might be gaining on
Yeah.
me. You know?
Also said airplanes may kill you, but they ain't likely to hurt you.
So
What you got?
Well, I have the best performance thus far in the season. That's 25% of the way through, and my nominee would be Shane, not Justin Bieber. If he continues at this current pace, they'll be calling the singer Justin, not Shane Bieber, because all he did for the first 2 games this season was strike out 27, and that beat Nolan Ryan's record for the most strikeouts in the first 2 games.
Wow.
So far, he's got 3 starts. He's starting later today, too. He'll have his 4th start today. He's 3-0 with a .83 ERA. This guy should not be a surprise. He was the MVP of last year's All-Star game, and he has been nothing but lights out. In fact, he's just in shape ever since he came up in about mid-June of 2018.
and I think he was the MVP of the All-Star game.
That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
yeah.
he was. I just said that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That was him.
Was that him?
Yeah.
I thought
No,
I
that
saw
was
your
Co-
lips moving on.
Corny said that. I
Oh,
just opened my mouth.
Okay. I want to give a shout out to, well, not a shout out, but Mike Sirocco from Atlanta. And he's a young pitcher, right-handed pitcher. And the Braves are really hoping that he was, they were touting him as the next great starter from there. But last week, he pitched, he was pitching, and a ball was hit, and he went to cover first base, and he went down, and he popped his Achilles tendon, his right Achilles tendon, and because he's right-handed, he's gonna have, that's the one that you use your right leg to push off the mound. So from personal experience, he's got a tough road ahead, because he's going to be in that cast, and the soft cast, and the cast, and the boot.
That's a brutal injury.
Yeah, it is brutal, and I wish him luck, because he got off to a good start, and the Braves are still winning. They're still doing good, but they needed him, and I hope his rehab goes good.
I was looking at the standings, and out of the 30 teams, there's like 22 that are 500 or under. American League, there's only 3 teams playing anywhere over 600 baseball, or even over 500. Minnesota, the Yankees, and Oakland.
Yeah.
In the National League, it's the Rockies, the Dodgers, Cubs, and the Marlins. And everybody else, with 1 or 2 exceptions, is like under 500. So that
Not
might
the
be
best year for a 16-team playoff.
No, or for ratings. And I did hear initially one about the ratings weren't very good. I read something else where, no, the ratings are okay. And so I don't know. You don't want to even discuss it, because what difference does it make? People are either watching or they aren't watching. Also, before we go any further, because we're going to do this right off the bat, and we've forgotten for 3 episodes, this is Ebbets Field. Many years ago, I don't know what year,
wow.
but it would look like this in 1957. Did you have a friend that said, "I hope this isn't the Big A"?
That's right. I've had 2 or 3
Holy
friends inquire about what is that ballpark.
It's definitely not the Big A.
Well, it looks like, not from the outfield, but from the light standards, it looks like Detroit, the old Tiger Park.
Yeah, Tiger.
Where Reggie hit the light on the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So
You can't see it from here because I can't turn it around. It's a little, hard to do. But they kind of built these things, especially like Shibe Park in Philadelphia. They looked like museums. I mean, they were, talk about antiquated. So anyway, that's the deal. That's Ebbets Field. And also, mentioning about the newest field, Globe Life Park, I guess Part 2. Wasn't it changed from Ballpark at Arlington to Globe Life, and now it's the new park.
Okay.
So I just read, I haven't seen I have seen some pictures of the new ballpark, because the other one was 25 years old. Stay there. 25 years old, and they said, they hoped it would last 100. But evidently it doesn't look really that great outside. It doesn't look like any of the old new ballparks. One person said it looked like a barbecue, and another one said it looked like Home Depot. But inside, the seats are anywhere from 20 to 40 feet closer to the field.
Wow.
So for those cardboard cutouts, that's a lot better.
Good.
You know?
Yeah. Okay, I have a trivia question.
Shoot.
Okay. Who is the only player ever to hit 2 grand slams in one inning, in the same inning? 2 grand slams in the same inning off the same pitcher?
And he was a pitcher?
No. This guy was
Thinking Tony Cloninger.
no,
but-
no.
Okay.
This guy hit 2 grand slams in one inning, and he did it off the pitcher twice. And you should know this.
Gil Hodges.
No. Okay. Fernando Tatis
Senior.
Sr.
Ooh.
And he did it off of Chan-Ho Park in 1999. But this is the thing. I heard this, right? And the thing that occurred to me, I said, that's a great feat. You know, I mean, he had 8 RBIs in one inning. That's a good week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, his son's
But
phenomenal.
But the thing that caught me was, what the hell was Tommy Lasorda thinking?
What did he
was
think of his
You don't want to
performance?
know what his answer would be.
Was he in the clubhouse with getting some clams and linguine? I mean, how do you leave a pitcher in like that? There's guys going around like a merry-go-round. Well, I don't understand why he wouldn't have taken Chan-Ho Park out by that time.
After you talk to the commissioner, give Tommy a call and ask him,
I
what the
will.
heck were you thinking?
I will.
I said I was going to go over the term meat. I think in this age of political correctness, we, especially as men, we don't know what to call women anymore. Do we call ma'am, miss, Mrs., whatever? So I don't know if it's as prevalent anymore, but at one time the term meat, M-E-A-T, was used by baseball players, and it was either an affectionate name or it was somebody that was like, hey, meat, or hey, meat. So it could go either way on that. So I would like to resurrect the phrase, the term, the word meat for everybody. That way, so if you see a lady or whomever, you hey, meat, and they're like, this guy is really woke, you know.
Well, if it's a rookie, you say new meat.
Fresh meat.
Yeah.
So
Trivia, and I'll just give you the answer because you'll never get this. Last pitcher to start at Ebbets Field in '57 was, any guess? Danny McDevitt. The last pitcher to start for the Angels in Wrigley Field was Ryan Duran. And let me just go over one other thing. I mentioned, I'm talking about, back in the old-timey days, there was a guy, if I can find it in my notes here, and I'm sure I won't. Now, let me take a look, and you guys carry on with Cornelius. I can't find my notes.
All right. Well, you're talking about meat. I have a story about ballpark food. Now, Humphrey Bogart once said that a hot dog at the game beats roast beef at the Ritz. Now, I like ballpark food, and I can hold my own, but it's not the kind of fare that I would order out. But I've seen that at least a couple of teams, the Dodgers and the Nationals, have home delivery of ballpark food. And that's not a trend that I hope continues. Cornelius here, I was looking into ballpark food and baseball history. Now, in his day, they might have ordered Dachshund sausages on milk bread with sauerkraut. Was it delicious? Yeah, he says it was delicious. So, do you have a favorite ballpark food?
No, I always eat before I get to the ballpark
I
because
do
it's
too.
overpriced
Yeah.
and it's horrible for you.
Oh, last time I paid for food at the ballpark, I needed a co-signer.
Or I bring it in.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't let you bring it in now.
No,
I don't think
That's
so.
That's why I like minor league ball. Last year or 2 years ago, I went with some fellows from my church to a Boise Hawks game, and at Hawks Stadium, they had all you can eat through the 5th inning or 6th inning or something like that. So, but it was every junk food junkie's dream. Last year I was on a diet, so I couldn't eat a thing.
that was the best thing that could happen to you. I did find this. Because we're talking about Dylan Bundy.
Oh, okay.
A complete game. It's a miracle. 1903, on this date, a week after starting in both games of a doubleheader, Joe McGinty of the New York Giants won both games of a doubleheader against the Dodgers. 6-1 and 4-3. This is a week after he won a doubleheader the week before. A week later, another doubleheader, and he stole home. His nickname? Iron Man.
Oh, my God.
You ain't going to see that anymore.
No.
We had a fellow throw both sides of a doubleheader. I think it was in the regionals, Western Regionals at Cal Poly, in 1980. Alan Folks lives in North Carolina now. Great pitcher.
I think Wilbur Wood was the last guy that won both ends of a doubleheader. I think he pitched. Wilbur Wood, remember?
Oh, yeah. Well, when you're
Now,
throwing a knuckleball, it's
yeah.
not taking much off of your arm.
And one other thing, I was watching the Angel game today. Lance Lynn was pitching. This dude is total beer league. He had the gut. He had the beard. He had, the square back. And he looked like he was getting hot. The umps weren't giving him the call. He was sweating. He's ready for that six-pack, man. As soon as they pull him.
That's a guy you call meat.
Yeah.
All right. One last thing from a quote from Satchel Paige. This kind of goes along with the 17 inches the other week with your coach. Just take the ball and throw it where you want to. Throw strikes. Home plate, don't move.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
any last?
I think that's what I'm watching the home run count. Stanton's leading. Watch out for Tatis Jr.
Stanton's on the IL.
I mean, not
today.
Stanton. What am I talking
Judge.
about? Judge.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Yeah, Judge.
Oh, there goes your. Wow. Oh, man.
Well,
We were
he
going-
went 0 for 5 today.
He was on pace for 32 homers, and you said 27, and now it's
Well, let me
tight.
just tell you. Yesterday, Saturday, in the second game, I was watching on the computer. He was up, and all of a sudden, the computer goes to a final score. And it's like, what happened? Wait, something's, I'm trying to figure it out. I didn't realize it was only 7 innings. And the game was over. He was the last out. So I saw the highlight. He hit the ball right to the fence, right in the furthest part of the ballpark, right up against the wall. And he would have had, number 9? Number 9?
Number 9.
And with these guys, I'm texting them. I'm giving sports alerts when this guy's, but Castellanos and Tatis Jr. and Judge. Those are the three that they got to stay
So the moral of the
healthy.
story is when you make a prediction, you can become a fan of anybody, anywhere.
Yes.
You,
It's like-
an Angel fan rooting
Yes.
for the Yankees.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we got other things going on.
Yeah.
After I think we'll wrap it after
Yeah.
this, guys. Okay. Yep. But I would like to see after 2 weeks in the World Series, I'd like to see the Marlins against the Astros. And at first you think, well, nobody. Are you kidding me? Everybody be watching for the Marlins to beat the Trastros. The Marlins and the Astros. I mean, talk about a Cinderella story and a bunch of cheaters.
Yeah.
We're going for the Cinderella story, guys. Okay, guys. Thank you for watching SPK Speak Sports today. We thank you, or as this guy would say, thank you. Thank you very much.
You hit the ball out of the park with SPK Sports. You hit the ball out of the park with Scott, Paul, and Kelly. You hit the ball out of the park, Speak Sports.